This video is for those who feel overwhelmed with the pace at which AI is moving, with the number of different AI tools and advancements that are coming out on a weekly basis, and that it feels behind and like you're always catching up with the industry rather than having a solid relationship with AI. So, your competitive advantage is not rushing, right? We tend to think that, oh, there's so many AI tools coming out. I need to learn all of them. I'm behind. Other people are ahead of me and learning this stuff better, faster. They're going to capitalize on the market opportunity here. Because I'm not moving fast enough, I won't be able to capitalize on it. But the truth is different. The truth is that you are actually moving too fast, right? When you're rushing, the quality of your decisions suffer, and you're actually not able to think straight, right? And so one of the key things that we're going to be talking about here is that AI will replace, if you're rushing, it will replace the fast workers first. The faster you work, the less that you're doing critical thinking, the less you're doing strategic thinking, and the more likely you are to be doing work that AI is going to actually automate faster. And so this is the paradox here, right? The slower you work, the more resilient you will become to AI automating the work that you do, right? So your work is to think deeply, to see patterns, to make higher quality decisions, to make higher quality bets. And so what this looks like is moving slower. So there's this book by Cal Newport called Slow Productivity, and he essentially has these three principles in it. It's do fewer things at a natural pace with more quality. So do fewer things, work at a natural pace, and obsess over quality. Do fewer things means, in essence, how can you focus on the one thing that's going to move the lever each day? If you know Dan Coe, he often talks about how the like choose one thing is kind of an illusion. Because if you're going to start a business, you have to do many things. You're not going to be able to do one thing. But I think the nuance here is that each day focus on one high leverage thing. Figure out what is the constraint of your business and focus only on that thing and block out everything else. And then the next day, figure out what the constraint is the next week, the next month, and continue just dropping everything and focusing only on the constraint. Another way to put this is that you have one goal, but how you accomplish that goal is going to change over time, right? So you have this one thing, which is like, I'm going to start an AI based service business. I'm going to create a personal brand around the perspectives around AI ethics and one person businesses and the future of work. Whatever your goal is, focus on that one thing, and then maybe each day how you actually accomplish that thing or what it requires to move you closer to that thing is going to change. So you're going to be doing a different thing every single day. But at the core of it, you're only doing one thing. You have one mission, and each day you're doing one core prioritized task. And you're working at a natural pace, right? When we're rushing, the more you rush, the harder it is to drop into a flow state. So the goal here is to drop into flow state, to do deep work, and to be to make as high quality decisions as possible in as much a state of deep work as possible. So the goal here is how there's this old maxim that goes, how you do anything is how you do everything. What this essentially means is that if you're rushing all day, every day, this means that your work is going to be lower quality. It's going to be rushed. You're not going to be, if you want to have high quality work, you actually have to slow down. The quality of the output will get better the more that you drop into flow, work at a natural pace, and realize that putting all of your energy on the one thing that you're doing, putting maximum focus on it, is actually going to pay off in the long run more than trying to do a million things and rushing. And so another core idea that I want to talk about here is that you don't need to learn all the AI tools. I see a lot of people get caught up in this trap of like, oh, there's this new SaaS product here, there's this new SaaS product there. Should I learn relevance AI? Should I learn this other AI tool? There's this AI sales tool, this AI marketing tool. But at the core of it, AI SaaS products are literally just sexy looking user interfaces run by API calls and good prompts, right? And so rather than trying to, like, you're just wasting your time trying to learn all these different AI SaaS products. What you really need to be doing is understanding the deeper principles behind AI trends. You need to be focusing on problem solving, on skills like critical thinking, persuasion, ability to articulate your perspective, ability to enlist people in your mission, right? Learn to spot trends. As I see it, we're at the tail end of the chat GPT trend. We're at the front of the AI agents trend. So you better learn, why is this a trend? What is this going to solve for? And what is your unique value proposition that you can create that only you can do, right? Like, anyone can learn AI agents, but maybe you have a specific ability in marketing. You've been a copywriter your whole life. Okay, now your unique value proposition is using AI agents for copywriting. Maybe you've been in sales your whole life. Maybe you've been in, operations your whole life. These are different niches that you can go down on, that you can uh, get like more specific, that you can scope down your work, and you can say, I'm only going to target this type of people that have this specific problem because this is what I've done my whole life. And so this has been happening for decades, right? It's not just the advent of AI that has been causing us to rush more. Um, for decades now, people have been turning more and more into machines. Charles Eisenstein talks about this, where he says that with the industrial revolution, people thought that we would have more time freed up because we're having these machines doing a lot of the work that humans used to do. But what ended up happening is that humans uh, were co-opted to machines. So rather than us, we actually had a more natural pace of work before the Industrial Revolution. And once the Industrial Revolution hit, now we're working longer hours in more harsh conditions because the machines are always on and we're trying to live like machines. The same thing is happening with AI. AI is doing more work for us, but we think that we have to be always on. We think that we have to be always doing what the machines are doing. And so my my conviction here, and what I hope that you take away from this video, is that you should reclaim your humanity. You should work at a natural pace. You should fight against the impulse to be doing more now that AI is automating, and actually realize that you are not a machine. The goal is not to work 80, 90 hours a week. The goal is to work more like a human being, to understand the fluxes and flows of attention, of focus, to optimize for, when am I most focused? For me right now, it's 10:44 a.m. My most focused hours are 9 to 1, and also like 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I'm going to work until 1 p.m. I'm going to work for 2.5 more hours. And then once 1 o'clock hits, I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to rest. I'm going to read some books. I'm going to do something. And then if I feel that surge of energy again at 6 p.m., I'm going to get back on and I'm going to record more videos. Or I'm going to do different strategy level work for the business, right? But I don't like this whole idea that we have to work 9 to 5 is just egregious, right? It's just it's a remnant of the industrial age that told us that the machines are on from 9 to 5 p.m. So you have to be there or be square, right? And so in order to reclaim your time, you have to realize that you're only focused during certain hours of the day. And a lot of times this means you have to transition to running your own business, because if you're working for someone else, they're going to expect that you work from 9 to 5. They own you, they own your time, it's literally slavery, it's wage slavery, right? And so in order to escape wage slavery, you have to understand that you work at natural hours, you need to capitalize, do deep work, deep focused work, build AI agents to enlist in your mission, to support the mission as like an infrastructure of basically workers that are on the clock 24/7 because they're robots. And realize that your work is not to be like the agents and to be like the robots, but to be able to capitalize on that flow state, right? So wage slavery is inevitable when you rush. When you rush, you are not able to escape the throes of a 9 to 5 job. In order to escape wage slavery, you need to be more strategic. You need to take more risks. You need to trust your capacities more. You need to learn the core skill of how to learn, right? And so, one of the things that I'm interested in exploring here is you can relate to AI in different ways. More AI is not inevitably going to lead to more people escaping wage slavery. It's actually going to lead to more people potentially becoming more entrapped because now there's AIs that are working harder, faster, longer than they are. And they're just in a desperate trap to catch up, or like the job security goes out the window, right? And so, how you relate to AI is going to determine what your life becomes. And you can either be more strategic, take more risk, learn how to learn, and adapt and be resilient and anti fragile, or you can move deeper into wage slavery because you're always rushing, you're always trying to catch up, and you're not doing the deep thinking that is required, right? So, what we need to do here is delegate more to AI, right? If you automate 10 hours of work per week, work 5 hours less per week, right? You're still going to be more productive than if you hadn't automated it. Like, if you have agents that are taking over 20 hours of the work per week that you used to be doing, then work 30 hours a week. Instead of saying, like, oh, now I have 20 more hours to be productive, say, now I can be more productive than I was working full time by working 30 hours a week. And maybe I don't work Fridays, right? So this is the thing, is that when we have one person businesses, when we build businesses using AI agents, using brand, using media, we're able to work less hours, but we have to be intentional about that. We have to actually make the conscious choice to work less hours rather than getting stuck in the never-ending rat race of more, better, faster, new, right? And so Alex Hormozy has this thing where he says, you want to grow a business, do more, then do it faster, then do it better, then do new stuff. Which, sure, you can grow your business faster by doing these things, but do you really want to end up in a new form of wage slavery where you're just a slave to your business, right? Like, okay, maybe it's a good heuristic to say, before I try something new to grow my business, let me just do more of what's working. But that doesn't mean I'm going to work more hours. It just means that I'm going to find a way to optimize for what works, and to do that in the 30 hours a week that I have, and to make sure that I'm building leverage, that I'm building AI agents that are working for me so that I can actually work less, right? And I'm working at a more natural pace that's more enjoyable. So as AI agents get better, what's going to become more essential is creative thinking. Now, I've seen some people push back on this and they say, like, well, like AI can just, you know, write articles and poetry, and AI is actually taking the creative jobs. And I say this is not true, right? Because prompt engineering is creative. This video is creative, right? Connecting the dots between different ideas is creative. Sure, an AI can write an article, but can an AI, like, the meaning that we have in our lives is our effort to do good, and is from our ability to do creative work. And so even if AI is writing articles and writing video scripts and whatever, our goal should not be to let AI do all of this stuff for us. It should just be to do this stuff better, right? My goal with this channel is to do as much creative work and creative thinking as I possibly can. And yeah, I'm building systems to help me do all of the aspects of the creative process that I don't want to do, right? This video description is all AI. The timestamps on this video are all AI. The thumbnail is something that I've outsourced. The process of uploading the video and like creating short form YouTube shorts and reels from this video, that's all automated. I'm not doing any of that, such that the only thing that I'm doing is dialoguing with Claude, figuring out how to create outlines for videos, adding them into a presentation, figuring out like the different perspectives and lenses that I want to take on this AI age, exploring that, discovering stuff, and then basically just communicating what I've learned to you. So there's this quote in Slow Productivity that says the powered mill followed by the factory made every day a harvest day, continuous monotonous labor that never alters. This stands in stark contrast to how humans historically worked, with natural seasons and rhythms that allowed for periods of intense activity followed by rest and reflection. So I think this is where work, like, this is what I think the vision for your life should be. Obviously, you're the only one that can create the vision for your life. But in my life, what I'm really optimizing for is, can I like allow myself to get in deep work sessions, right? I can record, if I'm in a state of deep work, I can outline and I can record 5 to 10 videos in a day, right? And those 5 to 10 videos can allow me an insane amount of leverage, right? Such that I can have a whole month's worth of videos done in a day because I'm just in this period of intense focus. And then I'm making money from the videos. Maybe the rest of maybe the other 3 or 4 days a week, I'm on sales calls, I'm doing client delivery, I'm building agents to like build an infrastructure for my business. I'm doing all of these things that are supporting my business, but I'm not in this endless rat race of creative work, as like a lot of creators are just in this endless rat race of like creating content as the new 9 to 5. It's like, no, I'm taking periods of rest and reflection. I'm reading books. Like, sure, like it's kind of like a full-time job if you think about it that way, but really it's like I love reading books. I want to integrate those perspectives into my videos. I want to be thinking in new ways. I want to be exploring new paradigms. This only happens when I have intense periods of focus that build leverage, that allow me to then take time away from that and focus on, doing that rest and reflection because I've had those periods of intense creative work. So the core idea here is that AI can free up your time only if you allow it to. Most of us will end up working more because we're trying to catch up with all of the new AI fads. Um, we have to we have to know and have an intimate understanding of the type of reality that we want to live in order to create it. We can't end up in a more beautiful world, a more beautiful experience of our day-to-day lives that is more fulfilling, that has well-being as the source of it, if we don't know what it feels like on a minute to minute, hour by hour basis. So my task for you is articulate in hyper specific detail what that perfect day is. Maybe you wake up, you make a coffee, you outline some videos, you do creative work, you read books for a little bit, you go to the gym and work out. You're articulating this vision for what that day looks like, where you're pursuing your mission, you have a purpose, you're doing deep work towards that purpose. This is what I've been doing over the holiday seasons. I've taken some time away from work to do lots of visioning on what do I want my life to look like? What am I moving towards? What am I moving away from? And I think this concept of an anti-vision is really important here as well. What are you moving away from? The more clear you get on what you don't want. So like for me, what I don't want to have a lack of autonomy and agency over my time and how I work. I don't want to be serving someone else's mission, getting paid pennies and dimes, while the other person is getting paid millions of dollars because it's not my mission, right? I want to know and have a visceral feeling of what my mission and purpose is in life, and then I want to be moving towards that each and every day. And so the goal here, like I said, is not 80-hour work weeks with AI agents on top of it. It's 20 to 30-hour weeks with more deep work, less monotonous work, where we're more aligned with our passion. So how do you actually accomplish this? Ask questions like, what calls to you? What good do you want to aspire to? What lights you up, right? So there's a couple signals, like our body is giving us signals of what we value, what we enjoy. And so a lot of people don't listen to those and they just go heads down in grind mode, right? But we're seeing a shift in our culture where, yeah, like the hustle culture is still alive, but a lot of people are moving away from hustle culture because they're like, that's not the life that I want to live. I want to live a life where I'm in deep work, I'm pursuing what is meaningful, and I'm like actually focusing on intrinsic motivation. What is it that lights me up, right? What do I feel a call towards? So this is what I talked about before, but like maybe you want to get into the AI industry. All right, maybe or does it feel exciting to you to build marketing agents, sales agents, to do AI consulting, product design, AI systems, wireframing, AI for whatever niche you want to target, right? And so for everyone, it's going to be different, but you have to tune into like, I think YouTube is actually a good opportunity for this. One of the ways that I use YouTube is I'll go on my feed and I'll notice like what videos catch my attention, then I'll click on them. Some of them are just clickbait, but others of them I'll like get really freaking inspired by certain videos. And then I ask myself the question like, what is it that inspires me about this? Why is it that I'm like just really lit up by this idea that's being shared in this video? And the more that I can tune into that, the more that I can align the work that I'm doing, my mission, my purpose in life with that like intrinsic motivation, right? If you're working a 9 to 5, it's all most likely it's all extrinsic motivation. You're motivated by a paycheck, and that's pretty much it, right? You're trying to align it with something you enjoy doing, but you have very little control over what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, over what you're working on, and you have very little autonomy. So there was a study done on what types of people found their job and work most meaningful, and they found that it's actually the ones that had the highest degrees of autonomy over their work. So the more autonomy that you have to shape your work, which I believe is only possible if you have a business, a media brand, you're selling services, right? If you have a high degree of autonomy over how you spend your time, what you're working on, what you're pursuing, this is what will create meaningful work. And so, as Naval Ravikant said, like with time, we might have 7 billion one-person businesses, right? Which I think is a little bit of an exaggeration, but the core idea is there. If you have a one-person business, I mean, like it's you can have more people, right? But the idea here is that you are the source of your income. You are not dependent on someone else for your income. And when you are the source of your income, your life is infinitely more meaningful and enjoyable than the alternative, right? And so, my call to you is, what is it that lights you up? How do you create frameworks and processes for the transformation that you went through? How do you describe why that thing lights you up? How do you align your mission and purpose in life to that thing? And how do you like center your life and create an environment in your life that is centered around intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic motivation? And so that's a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you enjoyed this, there's a free community down below where I create a lot of posts. We have discussions about this type of stuff. So check that out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.